Hi, my name is Tess Konovich, and I'm a 2020 grad. I majored in biology and environmental science at LaSalle, and I am currently a computational and integrative biology PhD student at Rutgers. So I've been giving a lot of presentations on college success and how to afford college and how to do well in college and find your path at the center. And I have 4 commonly asked questions from incoming freshmen, high school students, and college students that I wanted to share. So the first is, do you think it's possible to major in STEM even if you're not the best student? This question upset me because don't ever call yourself not the best student, right? Everyone has different strengths, and unfortunately, at least in my experience, I know things are changing. I feel that the education system rewards memorization and not so much skill set and even conceptual learning. So you you may not be great at memorization, and unfortunately that's what we're really graded on right now, but that does not mean you're not a good student. And even further, that does not mean you're not going to be a great scientist. So in my experience, the STEM field is a lot of hands-on work. So while everyone I interact with is very smart, I would not say that everyone is like naturally smart. Me personally, growing up, I always did get good grades, but one thing I learned in college is that I am not like that natural answer really quick, smart person. I met classmates who just, again, knew the answers. Nothing against that, like they just understood things. For me, I'm a really hard worker, so I have to put in extra time to learn things. And so that's my piece of advice. If you feel that you are not the best student, you need to just put in more work. And STEM is for everyone. The skills that you need in STEM are so varied, right? If you're good at video games, you might be a really good computational biologist. If you like being outside and you're good at like physical things, you might be a great ecologist working in the field. If you like certain tasks like the lab, there are so many tasks that I have done. I only have like a small subset. I've done so many different tasks in the field and in the lab and computationally. There's something that you will be strong at, but again, it's about putting in the effort. And grades are important, so make sure you're focusing on your schoolwork, make sure you're going to tutoring. But I feel that STEM is for everyone, and I think that there's this stigma that it's only for like super intelligent people and you need to be really smart to major in STEM. You need to put in the time and effort. It is a challenging field, but it is for everyone, in my opinion. The second is, how did you manage your time in college? So this question usually comes after I explain my routine. So in college, I worked like 4 different jobs. I double majored, I had a minor, I was in the honors program. Currently, I'm working like 3 different jobs in addition to school and my PhD. So my biggest piece of advice and what I think has made me successful at managing my time is investing in a planner. It seems like super simple. Now, I will say I'm a little old-fashioned. If you use Google Calendar, I don't use that, but I'm not against it. I just haven't had time to learn it. So a planning system is what you need to have. It can't just be like a list on your fridge, in my opinion. You need to have it on you 24/7, because one thing I don't do in any of my work is overcommit. Like I worked 16 hours yesterday and I had breaks built in and I did a lot of things and I got a lot done. Now, I have the same amount of time in a day as you guys do. The thing is, I have everything written out. So when my boss says, hey, can you do this? I can open my book and say, oh, yes, I can. Or I can open my planner and say, you know what, I'm booked during this time. The issue that I think students have is they're not organized with their time. So you might think, oh, I'm going to study for anatomy Friday. And then you get to Friday and you have 2 classes, 3 meetings, work, right? But when you're organized and you can actually put in your different pieces, then the puzzle starts to come together. So for time management, a planner, don't overcommit yourself. And then finally, don't just put in your planner, study for anatomy. Sit down and really think about what each assignment entails. Writing a paper, don't just say, oh, I'm going to write a paper from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. What are you going to be doing? I'm going to be outlining. I'm going to be writing the starting and ending paragraph. I'm going to be writing the body paragraph. I'm going to be proofreading. I'm going to be visiting a writing tutor. So you need to really break down tasks. Same with studying for anatomy. You can't just say, I'm going to study anatomy. What are you doing? Are you making flashcards? Are you outlining things? Are you reading the textbook? Etc. So I would say in addition to having a planner, you need to break down your tasks into manageable time slots. The next question is, what about procrastination? So procrastination is tough. I know a lot of people struggle with it. Some of it has to do with mental health. I would say procrastination happens when you're not motivated to do a task. And motivation to do a task comes from one, understanding why you're doing it, and then two, making sure that you understand how to do it. So again, if you just say like, I'm studying for anatomy, then you might put that off because it's like, where do I even begin? But if you say, okay, from 2 to 4, I am outlining chapter 3 in my anatomy textbook, you're going to be much more motivated to do that because there's an end, right? There's an end to that task. All right, when I'm done outlining, I can go to the gym. I can go walk my dog. So definitely having a set task will help you from procrastinating. The other thing is obviously procrastinating is putting things off to the last minute, but you need to, in your planner, schedule things so that you're not waiting to the last minute. So if you have a paper due Friday, don't start it Monday. 3 weeks in advance, say, oh, I'm going to read the book that this is on. 2 weeks in advance, I'm going to make an outline for it. 1 week in advance, I'm going to start writing the body paragraphs. The week of, you really should only be editing, maybe visiting a writing tutor, visiting the professor. That's always a good person to talk about your paper with. So that's what I would do. And then the final question we kind of touched on a little bit is, how do you stay motivated to do challenging work? And again, motivation comes from having a purpose. So I came into LaSalle as an education major. And then I realized I wanted to be a college professor, and I was talking with my advisor, and we kind of talked about how an education major wasn't necessary because I was going to go to grad school. It wasn't a requirement. And I remember finding myself sitting in these classes before this conversation, learning about like grade school teaching and high school teaching, which was great and really informative. But I remember feeling like, what is this doing for me? I want to be a college professor, and I'm learning about grade school teaching, which again, it's good to be a well-rounded student, but when you're super busy and you have a lot to do, when you feel like something isn't benefiting your journey, that's where I started to feel unmotivated. I put the work off. I wasn't as invested in the class time. And eventually I ended up converting my education major to a minor, and I felt like that served me much better. It's giving me that educational background and foundation, but I wasn't dedicating all of my time and hours to something I didn't want to pursue anymore. So you need to really think about how this task fits into your journey. There's going to be times it doesn't feel like it, like my education journey, or I remember history. I am not a fan of history. I like most subjects. I do not like history. And so I was taking honors history, which was really challenging, and I had to take it 2 semesters. And I just felt like, what is this doing for me? But then I was able to step back and say, okay, this is what I need to do to graduate. This is what I need to do to be in the honors program. I feel like the honors program presents me with a lot of opportunities. So in order to stay a member of the honors program and a student in the honors program, I need to take this course. And when you can kind of rationalize why you're doing something, I think that it is a lot more motivating to do that kind of challenging work. So I hope these questions were super helpful. This video is a lot longer than I expected it to be, but I hope that it's valuable for you. And check out our YouTube. I'm on there a lot. Our success coaches are on there a lot for more resources. Bye.